When we talk about fitness, one of the biggest truths people misunderstand is that men and women are built differently, and that difference isn't a weakness for either side. It's actually the key to unlocking better, faster, and more sustainable results. Men and women both have strengths that make them unique in their fitness journey. And when you start recognizing these differences instead of fighting them, everything becomes easier. Your workouts make sense, your expectations become realistic, and your progress becomes more enjoyable. Most people assume that fitness is a one-size-fits-all approach, but it's not. Men have different hormonal structures, different muscle responses, and different recovery patterns compared to women. That doesn't make one better or stronger, it simply makes them different. And understanding these differences is like having a roadmap that directly guides you to success. Men usually have higher testosterone levels, which means they naturally gain muscle faster, recover quicker, and feel strength improvements earlier. This is why men often see visible results within weeks of lifting weights. Their muscles respond quickly, their energy spikes, and their physique starts shifting faster. But here's the interesting part. Women, even with lower testosterone, are not at any disadvantage. Women have their own strengths that men don't have. They often have better endurance, better flexibility, and a higher capacity to stay consistent for long periods. Women may not build big muscles as quickly, but they build lean, toned, and sculpted bodies with incredible definition when they train properly. And their consistency gives them an advantage many men end up wishing they had. These natural differences don't divide men and women, they actually highlight how both can achieve success in their own unique ways. The problem is that society often compares men's results to women's and women's results to men's without understanding that their starting points and processes are different. A man might train for 3 weeks and see his shoulders broaden and arms pop. A woman might train for the same amount of time and notice improved stamina, better mood, and a stronger core, even if the visual changes take a little longer. But both are progressing, both are improving, both are winning in their own way. And the moment you stop comparing and start understanding, you start appreciating your journey more. Another important part of this keynote is how expectations shape progress. Men expect fast changes because their bodies respond faster at the start, but this expectation sometimes becomes their weakness. They get frustrated when progress slows down and often lose motivation. Women, however, expect slow changes from the beginning, which helps them stay patient. But their weakness is self-doubt. They often underestimate how strong and capable they actually are. So even though their progress is consistent, they sometimes fail to recognize how powerful their body truly is. This is why understanding the differences helps both sides. Men need to remind themselves that progress will not stay fast forever and that long-term transformation requires patience. Women need to remind themselves that their strength is real, their results are coming, and that they are stronger than they think. When you look at it from a motivational point of view, this difference becomes an advantage for both. Men bring intensity, women bring consistency. Men bring power, women bring patience. Men bring the drive to push harder, women bring the ability to stay balanced. When both sides use their natural strengths instead of resisting them, the results become smoother and more satisfying. A man who understands his body's strengths will train smarter instead of just harder. A woman who understands her natural abilities will train confidently instead of holding back. And when both understand what makes them unique, they stop trying to copy each other and start focusing on what works best for them personally. This understanding creates a powerful mindset shift. You start realizing that your body isn't supposed to work like someone else's, it's supposed to work like yours. Men don't need to compare their endurance to women, and women don't need to compare their muscle growth to men. If men use their natural muscle response, hormone levels, and strength potential wisely, their transformation becomes long-lasting instead of temporary. If women use their natural consistency, mental endurance, and ability to stay disciplined, their transformation becomes deeper and more impactful. It's not about proving who is better. It's about understanding that both are different, both are capable, and both can achieve incredible fitness success when they follow the path designed for their body. When you look at the fitness journey of men and women, one of the clearest patterns you begin to notice is how differently both approach training and how these natural tendencies shape their results. Men often start their journey with intensity, speed, and a kind of aggressive ambition. They want big results fast. They want muscle growth, fat loss, strength gains, all at once and as quickly as possible. This mindset comes from confidence, hormones, and the competitive nature many men naturally carry. Women, on the other hand, start more cautiously. They think twice before lifting heavy. They doubt whether they're doing the exercise correctly. They worry about becoming bulky, which is one of the biggest misconceptions that holds them back. But once women gain confidence, they become incredibly consistent and strong, often more disciplined than men in the long run. The truth is very simple. Men need to slow down and be patient because their intensity often turns into burnout, while women need to trust their strength and push harder because their cautious approach often limits their progress. Men usually come into the gym with the mindset of, I need to lift heavy right now. And because of this rush, they ignore form, warm-ups, stretching, and stability. In the beginning, this sometimes works because men gain muscle quickly due to higher testosterone. But soon, this overintensity leads to plateaus, injuries, or complete loss of motivation. A man might train extremely hard for 2 weeks and then suddenly stop because he feels exhausted or discouraged. He forgets that fitness is a marathon, not a sprint. If men slowed down just a little, focused on proper form, learned patience, and trained with a long-term mindset, their results would actually multiply. They would build muscle that stays. They would make strength that lasts. They would have energy that doesn't crash halfway through the journey. On the other side, women often underestimate what their bodies are capable of. They stick to lighter weights even when they can lift more. They avoid strength training because they think muscles will make them look bulky. But the truth is, women do not build big muscle the way men do. Their bodies respond differently. When women lift heavier weights, they don't get bulky, they get toned, sculpted, defined, and strong. Strength training is exactly what helps women burn fat faster, shape their body better, and improve metabolism. But because of doubt, fear, or lack of confidence, women often hold themselves back. They do the same light training, same routines, same cardio, and then wonder why their progress is slow. If women trusted their strength a little more, pushed harder, and embraced weights, they would experience a transformation that surprises even them. It's interesting how the natural strengths of both genders are the exact things they need to balance. Men have strength but lack patience. Women have patience but hold back their strength. Men go all in but burn out fast. Women go slowly but stay consistent. Men feel confident but quit early. Women feel unsure but keep going. And that is why the perfect advice for both is the opposite of what they naturally do. Men need to slow down, breathe, and train with focus. Women need to push harder, lift heavier, and believe in their power. When a man slows down his ego, he becomes unstoppable. When a woman silences her doubts, she becomes unstoppable. Men need to understand that lifting extremely heavy on day one doesn't make them strong. What makes them strong is showing up week after week, month after month without quitting. Women need to understand that lifting heavier won't make them look big. It will make them look confident, powerful, and beautifully toned. When men learn patience, they avoid injuries and stay consistent. When women trust their strength, their bodies transform faster than they imagined. Another interesting part of this dynamic is how mindset influences progress. Men judge their progress by how heavy they lift. Women judge their progress by how they feel. Men often think if the weight is not increasing fast, they are failing. Women often think if a workout feels tough, maybe they aren't ready for it.
But the truth is the exact opposite. Men need to accept slow progress because slow progress is real progress. Women need to accept tough workouts because tough workouts are the ones that make them stronger. When both adjust their mindset, the transformation becomes smoother. There's also the emotional side. Men usually hide their struggles. They don't admit when something feels too hard. They push through pain instead of adjusting the plan. Women openly express what they feel, but sometimes their emotions make them underestimate what they can do. So men pushing too hard and women holding back too much both become reasons for slow progress. That is why the message of this keynote matters so much. Men slowing down doesn't mean becoming weak. Women pushing harder doesn't mean becoming bulky. Both mean becoming smart, balanced, and aligned with what their bodies truly need to grow. When men add patience to their strength, and when women add strength to their patience, both unlock their best transformation, not just physically, but mentally as well.
When it comes to fitness, one of the most overlooked but crucial factors is nutrition. And this is where men and women often make opposite mistakes that slow down their results. Men tend to overeat, thinking that more protein or more calories automatically equals more muscle or faster fat loss. They load up on chicken, eggs, shakes, and supplements, believing that sheer quantity is the key to progress. The problem is that quantity alone doesn't work unless it's paired with quality, timing, and understanding of the body's needs. Eating more food doesn't magically build muscle if the body isn't primed to use it, and overeating can easily lead to fat gain instead of lean muscle. Men often forget that their body responds better to smart, balanced nutrition than to simply stuffing themselves with food. The right amount of protein, carbs, fats, and micronutrients at the right time is what actually fuels progress, builds strength, and keeps energy levels high. More is not always better, and understanding this simple truth separates those who plateau from those who continuously improve. Women, on the other hand, usually make the opposite mistake. They eat too little, often out of fear of gaining fat or looking bulky. They follow extreme calorie cuts, skip meals, or stick to very low-carb plans that make them feel weak and frustrated. Their metabolism slows, energy dips, and hormone balance gets disrupted, which ironically makes fat loss harder instead of easier. Women's bodies need adequate calories, especially healthy fats, and enough protein to maintain hormonal health. Hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and cortisol are extremely sensitive to food intake. If women undereat, these hormones can get imbalanced, leading to cravings, fatigue, bloating, and even stalled weight loss. The key is not eating less, but eating smarter. Properly fueled women can train harder, recover faster, and achieve their ideal body shape without putting their health at risk. Nutrition is not a punishment, it's a tool, and using it wisely accelerates progress beyond what workouts alone can do. The differences in male and female nutrition mistakes also explain why many people give up early. Men push too hard in the gym and overeat, expecting muscle to appear overnight, only to see fat accumulating instead. Women restrict too much, lose energy, and feel frustrated when results are slow, eventually quitting because it feels impossible. The solution is simple but requires awareness. Men need to balance intake with demand, and women need to nourish their bodies sufficiently to allow transformation. Neither approach should be extreme. Nutrition is not a battle of discipline alone. It's a science of understanding what your body truly needs and giving it the right tools to succeed. Another important point is timing and strategy. Men often eat whenever convenient, thinking post-workout shakes or late-night meals don't matter. Women often time meals perfectly, but drastically reduce portions, thinking that timing alone will create results. The truth is, both quality and timing matter, but the principle remains the same. Fuel your body according to its natural strengths and demands. Men need protein, healthy carbs, and fats distributed throughout the day to maximize muscle growth and energy. Women need a balance of proteins, fats, and carbs that supports both energy levels and hormonal health. When both understand how their nutrition aligns with their body's needs, workouts become more effective, recovery becomes faster, and results become visible. It's also critical to understand that both men and women need to overcome psychological barriers around food. Men often feel pressure to eat more to appear strong, while women feel pressure to eat less to appear slim. Both of these mindsets are limiting. Men don't get stronger by overeating blindly. They get stronger by eating intelligently and training consistently. Women don't get leaner by starving themselves. They get leaner by nourishing their body with enough calories to fuel metabolism, reduce cravings, and maintain energy for workouts. Nutrition is not just physical, it's psychological. It's about changing the way you think about food from something scary or excessive to something empowering and supportive of your goals. The best approach is for men to stop thinking that more equals better, and for women to stop thinking that less equals better. Men need quality over quantity, and women need adequacy over restriction. When men learn to eat smartly, they experience better strength, energy, and body composition. When women learn to fuel sufficiently, they experience more confidence, consistent fat loss, and a stronger, healthier body. The moment both understand that nutrition is not a punishment or a race, their transformation accelerates naturally and sustainably. Fitness is never just about workouts. It's about what you feed your body, how you respect it, and how you give it the tools to perform at its best.
Motivation in fitness is one of the most misunderstood concepts, and it's fascinating to see how men and women experience it so differently. Men often get motivated by results they can see immediately. When they lift heavier, when they notice their arms growing, when the scale moves in the direction they want, they feel unstoppable. This instant gratification fuels their drive, pushes them to train harder, and keeps their energy high. But the problem comes when progress slows or plateaus. Men who rely solely on visible results often feel frustrated or even defeated when their bodies stop changing at the speed they expect. They start questioning their efforts, comparing themselves to others, or worse, giving up completely because the numbers no longer match their expectations. Motivation built only on immediate progress is fragile, and men often discover this the hard way. What they need to understand is that lasting transformation comes from consistency, discipline, and a mindset that celebrates every small win, even when it's not immediately visible in the mirror. Women, on the other hand, often approach fitness from a different angle. Their motivation is rooted more in routine, habit, and how they feel over time. Women tend to measure success by energy levels, improved confidence, endurance, or how their clothes fit. They may not notice dramatic physical changes in a few weeks, but the consistency they maintain becomes their superpower. When women create a daily or weekly routine, they stick to it, even if progress feels slow. However, the challenge for women is that routine can break when life gets busy. Travel, work stress, or unexpected events can throw off their schedule, and suddenly motivation falters because the habit they relied on is disrupted. Women's motivation is strong when their routine is intact, but it needs flexibility to survive life's unpredictability. Understanding these differences is crucial because it highlights what each gender can do to maximize results. Men need to shift their focus from only visible, fast results to long-term progress and habits that build a strong foundation. They need to celebrate small wins, completing a workout without skipping, improving form, hitting a new rep even if the weight hasn't increased. Men need to recognize the true fitness is not just about immediate physical changes. It's about building endurance, consistency, and resilience over time. Women, on the other hand, need to recognize the strength of their motivation, but also prepare for the moments when routine is broken. They need strategies to adapt, such as short workouts, flexible meal plans, or mindfulness practices that help them stay consistent even when life interrupts. Motivation is not just feeling good about your body in the moment. It's about creating systems that sustain your progress even during challenges. Another key point is how emotional and psychological factors influence motivation. Men often push through frustration with sheer force, but this can lead to burnout if progress doesn't match their expectations. Women often worry about underperformance or self-doubt,
which can slow progress even when they're consistent. Both need to cultivate mental resilience, but in different ways. Men need patience and perspective, learning to trust the process instead of racing against results. Women need confidence and assertiveness, learning to push past fear and hesitation to fully use their strength and ability. Motivation is also deeply connected to mindset. Men often rely on comparison, checking themselves against others in the gym or online. Women may internalize criticism or feel pressure to meet unrealistic standards. Both mindsets are traps. True motivation comes from self-awareness, understanding your unique journey, and creating internal standards for progress. Men need to measure success against their own effort and growth, not someone else's numbers. Women need to trust their bodies, trust their discipline, and understand that transformation is a process that requires persistence and patience. Practical application of this understanding changes everything. Men can improve motivation by setting realistic milestones and tracking progress beyond the scale or mirror, such as strength, stamina, or mental clarity. Women can strengthen motivation by designing flexible routines and celebrating non-physical improvements, such as better mood, increased energy, or improved sleep. When both genders leverage their natural tendencies while correcting their weaknesses, motivation becomes a steady, reliable force rather than a fragile reaction to immediate results. Men combine consistency with patience, and women combine confidence with flexibility, creating a powerful foundation for long-term fitness success. Motivation isn't about feeling fired up every day. It's about building habits, mindset, and systems that allow results to happen consistently over time.
Confidence plays a huge role in fitness, and the way men and women experience it is surprisingly different. Men often appear confident in the gym, lifting heavy weights, performing intense exercises, and moving with authority. On the outside, it looks like they have it all together. But the truth is, many men struggle with insecurities beneath the surface. They compare themselves to others, worry if they are strong enough, or feel embarrassed if they can't lift as much as someone else. These hidden doubts can slowly erode motivation and even cause frustration or impatience when progress doesn't happen as fast as expected. Confidence for men is not just about looking strong or performing well. It's about believing in the process, trusting the effort they are putting in, and understanding that transformation is a journey, not a race against others. Men who learn to quiet the comparison and focus on their personal growth often experience faster results and a much healthier relationship with fitness because their actions are driven by self-belief instead of external validation. Women, on the other hand, often start their fitness journey with self-doubt. Many women worry about being judged in the gym, performing exercises incorrectly, or not being, quote, fit enough to begin with. They may hold back from lifting heavier weights, trying new routines, or fully committing to their workouts because they fear they won't measure up. This hesitation can limit progress significantly, even if they are consistent with lighter workouts or cardio. However, the beautiful thing about women's confidence is that once they overcome these initial fears, it grows steadily and becomes incredibly resilient. Women who trust their abilities and push past the mental barriers often stick to their routines longer, handle challenges better, and enjoy results that are both visible and sustainable. Their confidence becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. The more they believe in themselves, the more effort they put in, and the more results they see, which further boosts their belief. Understanding these differences is critical because it shows that confidence is not a one-size-fits-all trait. Men may need to focus on being more honest with themselves about their fears, acknowledging that strength is more than just physical, and learning to celebrate small wins along the way. They need to shift the mindset from, how do I compare to others, to, am I improving compared to myself yesterday? This internal shift helps men build lasting confidence that supports long-term fitness instead of short-term bursts. Women need to focus on trusting their strength and abilities, embracing challenges even if they feel intimidating, and letting go of the fear of judgment. When women begin to believe in their potential, the results become faster, more consistent, and far more rewarding because their confidence drives both effort and persistence. Another interesting factor is how confidence interacts with risk-taking in fitness. Men often take physical risks, trying heavier weights, pushing to exhaustion, or competing with others, but their confidence can falter if progress slows. Women may be less likely to take risks in the gym, holding back on challenging exercises or avoiding weights, but their confidence can grow steadily as they gradually overcome obstacles and prove to themselves that they are capable. In both cases, confidence is the bridge between effort and results. Without belief in their ability to succeed, men and women can easily stall, plateau, or give up, even if they have the knowledge and resources to transform their bodies. Mental resilience is also tied to confidence. Men who appear strong but doubt their progress internally feel pressure, stress, and frustration that undermine motivation. Women who begin their journey cautiously but steadily build self-belief develop a resilience that allows them to overcome setbacks, schedule interruptions, or temporary plateaus without giving up. Confidence becomes a skill, something that can be trained, reinforced, and strengthened through experience, self-awareness, and repeated proof of capability. The key is for men to internalize belief in their own process, and for women to externalize belief in their ability to handle challenges. Both genders have natural strengths in this area, but each must work consciously to overcome the opposite weakness to maximize progress. The final truth about confidence is that it is not only about lifting weights, losing fat, or looking a certain way. It's about believing that your body can adapt, grow, and transform. It's about trusting that consistent effort leads to results even when you don't see them immediately. Men need to embrace patience along with their natural drive. Women need to embrace courage along with their natural consistency. When confidence aligns with effort, knowledge, and the unique strengths of your body, transformation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. The mind and body work together, and confidence is the key that unlocks the full potential of both.
Recovery is one of the most overlooked aspects of fitness, yet it is the invisible factor that determines whether men and women make progress or plateau. Men often recover faster physically because their muscles respond quickly to weight training, and their testosterone levels support rapid repair and growth. This means that after a heavy lifting session, men's bodies can rebuild muscle fibers more efficiently, allowing them to hit the gym again sooner and push harder in the next session. However, this physical advantage comes with a hidden challenge: mental fatigue. Men often burn out mentally because they expect continuous progress and feel frustrated when performance slows or results aren't immediate. The mental side of recovery is just as important as the physical side. Even if a man's muscles are ready, if his mind is exhausted, motivation drops and the intensity that fuels early progress fades. Learning to respect mental recovery through rest days, meditation, stress management, or lighter training sessions is essential for sustained results over the long term. Women, on the other hand, recover more slowly physically due to lower muscle mass and different hormonal responses. Heavy lifting or high-intensity workouts may leave women feeling sore for longer periods, and they need adequate rest, proper nutrition, and sleep to allow their bodies to rebuild efficiently. The benefit, however, is that women often have greater mental endurance. They can maintain consistent routines for long periods, handle repetitive workouts, and stick to structured programs without giving up, even when physical fatigue sets in. This combination of slower physical recovery but higher mental resilience gives women a unique advantage. They are less likely to quit out of frustration and more likely to stay consistent, which is ultimately the key to transformation. The challenge is ensuring that women respect their physical limits, prioritize recovery, and avoid overtraining, because pushing too hard without proper rest can stall progress and even lead to injuries. Understanding the recovery differences between men and women is critical for designing effective fitness strategies. Men often underestimate the need for rest and overtrain, assuming that more effort equals better results. But without adequate mental and emotional recovery, the quality of workouts diminishes, enthusiasm wanes, and the risk of burnout skyrockets. Women often underestimate their strength and push themselves cautiously, which naturally protects them from overtraining but may slow the rate of visible progress. Both genders benefit by learning to balance effort with recovery.
Men need to recognize that taking a day off or doing lighter sessions doesn't make them weak. It allows their body and mind to rebuild stronger. Women need to recognize that pushing slightly beyond their comfort zone can accelerate transformation provided they allow adequate recovery afterward. Recovery is not only about muscles or energy levels, it is also deeply tied to hormones and long-term health. Men who ignore proper recovery may experience cortisol spikes, fatigue, or joint pain, while women who ignore recovery may experience menstrual disruptions, hormonal imbalance, or increased risk of injury. Sleep, nutrition, hydration, and stress management are critical components for both genders, but the focus should be slightly different. Men benefit from strategies that calm the mind and prevent mental burnout, while women benefit from strategies that support physical repair and hormonal balance. Both require a holistic approach that treats recovery as a fundamental part of training rather than a passive afterthought. Another aspect of recovery is consistency. Men may see fast results in the short term, but falter when their mental energy diminishes. Women may see slower results initially, but stay consistent over months and years. Combining the male advantage of rapid muscle repair with the female advantage of consistent dedication creates a powerful blueprint for transformation. Men need to build mental endurance to match their physical capacity, while women need to challenge their physical limits to match their mental resilience. When both genders align recovery with effort and mindset, they maximize performance and avoid setbacks that usually derail progress. Recovery is not only about muscles or energy levels, it is also deeply tied to hormones and long-term health. Men who ignore proper recovery may experience cortisol spikes, fatigue, or joint pain, while women who ignore recovery may experience menstrual disruptions, hormonal imbalance, or increased risk of injury. Sleep, nutrition, hydration, and stress management are critical components for both genders, but the focus should be slightly different. Men benefit from strategies that calm the mind and prevent mental burnout, while women benefit from strategies that support physical repair and hormonal balance. Both require a holistic approach that treats recovery as a fundamental part of training rather than a passive afterthought. Finally, recovery influences motivation, confidence, and overall enjoyment of fitness. Men who fail to recover adequately often feel frustrated and discouraged, while women who neglect rest may feel stagnant or fatigued. By respecting the recovery process and tailoring it to their body's natural strengths and weaknesses, men and women can train smarter, stay motivated longer, reduce injuries, and sustain a fitness journey that is both effective and enjoyable. Recovery is not a passive choice. It is an active strategy that ensures the hard work in the gym translates into real, lasting transformation.
Fitness is not a competition, and one of the most important lessons both men and women need to understand is that their journey is personal, unique, and completely their own. Too often, men compare themselves to other men in the gym, measuring success by how much weight they lift, how fast they progress, or how big their muscles become. They see someone else achieving results faster or lifting heavier and instantly feel behind, doubting their own efforts and questioning their potential. Women, on the other hand, often compare themselves to other women, noticing differences in body shape, tone, or definition, and sometimes feeling discouraged because their progress doesn't match what they see online or in real life. Comparison creates unnecessary pressure, frustration, and a distorted view of what is achievable. The truth is, your body, your metabolism, your hormone levels, and your lifestyle are unique, and the only meaningful comparison is between who you were yesterday and who you are today. Fitness is not a race or a contest. It's a personal investment, and the sooner both men and women internalize this, the faster they will experience real transformation. For men, the challenge often lies in ego and external validation. They want to prove strength, power, or dominance, sometimes prioritizing how they look in the eyes of others over how they feel or perform for themselves. This approach can lead to burnout, overtraining, and frustration,
especially when results do not appear as quickly as expected. Men need to shift the focus inward, measuring success by personal milestones, consistency, and effort. Hitting a personal record, completing a challenging workout, or showing up consistently for months should be celebrated just as much as visible changes in muscle size. When men stop comparing and start focusing on their journey, they realize that true strength is not just physical, but mental and emotional as well. This realization changes the entire approach to fitness, because progress becomes a reflection of dedication rather than competition. Women face a slightly different challenge. They are often socialized to seek approval and measure themselves against idealized standards of beauty or fitness. When they notice someone else's transformation or body shape, it can create self-doubt and hesitation, causing them to question their ability to succeed. Women need to recognize that their bodies respond differently and that their journey is not meant to mirror anyone else's. The focus should be on what makes them feel strong, healthy, and confident, not on what fits a societal expectation. When women embrace their own path and prioritize internal satisfaction over external comparison, they unlock a level of consistency, self-belief, and motivation that cannot be shaken by temporary setbacks or others' progress. The concept of personal journey also extends to progress pace. Men may achieve quick initial results due to higher testosterone and muscle responsiveness, but without a long-term mindset, they risk burning out. Women may progress more slowly at first, but their ability to stay disciplined over time often results in transformations that are lasting, sustainable, and emotionally rewarding. The lesson for both is to focus on personal growth, patience, and self-awareness. Men can learn from women's consistency, and women can learn from men's drive, but both must honor their unique timelines and strengths. Trying to force the pace to match someone else's journey is a shortcut to disappointment and frustration. Another important aspect is mindset. Men and women need to see fitness as a lifestyle rather than a temporary challenge. This means valuing every workout, meal, and rest day as part of a long-term plan. Men need to understand that slowing down or adjusting intensity is not failure, it is smart strategy. Women need to understand that pushing harder and embracing strength is not risk, it is growth. Both genders benefit from recognizing that setbacks, plateaus, and fluctuations are not signs of weakness, but natural parts of the process. Fitness is not a contest with others, it's a commitment to yourself. And progress is measured by how you improve, not by how someone else performs. Ultimately, the personal journey mindset allows both men and women to enjoy fitness, build resilience, and sustain motivation over the long term. Men stop obsessing over numbers and start valuing habits, effort, and discipline. Women stop doubting their capabilities and start trusting their strength, routine, and consistency. Fitness becomes a reflection of dedication, patience, and belief rather than competition or comparison. By focusing solely on self-improvement, men and women can transform not just their bodies, but their mindset, confidence, and overall lifestyle. Fitness stops being stressful, frustrating, or intimidating, and becomes empowering, enjoyable, and sustainable. When both genders embrace the principle that the only true competitor is their former self, every step, every workout, and every decision contributes to lasting transformation.